price per piece is the closest thing the LEGO community has to a universal standard of value. 10 cents per piece is fair. Less is a deal. More is where you start asking questions. Today I'm asking those questions about 7 specific sets that are sitting on shelves right now or recently retired, where the number on the price tag and the number on the box simply do not add up. Some of these are going to be controversial. Some of them are sets people love, including me. But love doesn't make the maths wrong. Before we get into it, a quick note on how price per piece actually works and where it breaks down. The community standard of 10 cents per piece comes from looking at the average across the entire LEGO catalog going back decades. It's a useful baseline, but it has a blind spot. It treats all pieces as equal. A 1x1 plate and a unique custom molded figure both count as one piece. A set padded with hundreds of tiny filler tiles can hit 10 cents per piece easily while delivering a build experience that feels hollow. So when you hear me criticize a set's price per piece, I'm also going to tell you why the pieces themselves make it worse, not just the count. Let's start with the LEGO Marvel X-Jet, set 76281, 359 pieces. £75 at retail in the UK, which works out at almost 21 pence per piece. For context, that is more than double the community standard. And what are you getting for that premium? A mid-sized playset aimed at kids, a build that most adults can finish in under an hour, and a handful of minifigures whose value is entirely dependent on how much you care about that specific roster of X-Men characters. There is no complexity here that justifies the price. No large custom parts, no intricate mechanism. This is a set priced high because LEGO knew that X-Men 97 was driving interest and that fans would pay it. They were right. That does not mean it is value. The second set is Jabba's Sail Barge, set 75,397. $500. 3,942 pieces. That's about 12.5 cents per piece, which on paper looks reasonable. But here's what makes this one sting. When LEGO finally released the long-awaited UCS Sail Barge, they split it across 2 sets. The Desert Skiff and Sarlacc Pit, set 75,396, was sold separately. Minifigures that logically belong on a sail barge and a side build that completes the scene were carved out into a second purchase. The sail barge feels incomplete without it. You're effectively paying $500 for half a scene. Factor in the companion set, and the real cost of this display goes well above $600. The price per piece calculation looks acceptable on each box individually. The value calculation only makes sense if you look at what LEGO deliberately left out. Third is the LEGO Death Star, set 75419, $1,000, 9,023 pieces. That works out at about 11 cents per piece, and at face value that sounds almost reasonable for the flagship set in the catalog. But this is the first LEGO set in history to cost $1,000 at retail. $1,000. And when you look at what you get, it's a cutaway model, not a complete sphere, which is what most fans expected, and what decades of Death Star lore suggest this set should be. It's a cross-section. A very large, very detailed cross-section, with impressive interior scenes and 38 minifigures, but a cross-section. For $1,000, LEGO gave you half a Death Star and called it a display piece. The price per piece is defensible on paper. The decision to charge 4 figures for an incomplete model is harder to defend. Number 4 is the LEGO Icons Eiffel Tower, set 10307, €600, 10,001 pieces. On pure price per piece, that's around 6 cents, which sounds like a genuine deal. Here's the problem. 10,000 of those pieces are largely identical tan-colored elements. Long bars, short bars, small connectors, repeated thousands of times. The build is repetitive by design because the real Eiffel Tower is repetitive by design. It's a lattice structure. That's architecturally accurate. It's also, if we're being honest, one of the most tedious large set builds LEGO has ever produced. The piece count is enormous. The variety of pieces is tiny. €600 for a build experience that many reviewers described as feeling like a chore, and a display model that, at over a meter tall, most people don't have the shelf space for. The number looks great. The experience behind it tells a different story. Set 5 is the LEGO Technic Bugatti Bolide Set 4-2-151, €200, 905 pieces. That is 22 cents per piece, which is among the worst ratios in the current Technic catalog. Technic sets generally carry a premium because of the engineering involved, and that premium is often justified. Complex gear systems, working suspension, detailed mechanisms all take design time and specialized parts that cost more to produce. The Bugatti Bolide has some of that, but 905 pieces for €200? In a line where other sets deliver significantly more mechanical complexity at a better ratio, makes this one hard to recommend at full price. The Bugatti name is doing a lot of work here. You're paying for the badge on the front as much as anything else. 6th is any of the recent LEGO Harry Potter larger sets, and I want to use Hogwarts Castle, set 76419, as the example here. €150 for 2,644 pieces. That is around 5.5 cents per piece, so actually below the standard. But look at what those pieces are. Hundreds of 1x1 round tiles used as cobblestones and castle textures. Thousands of small gray elements used to build walls. The piece count is padded aggressively with filler elements. And the minifigure selection, 11 figures for a set at this price, is underwhelming compared to what older Hogwarts sets included. The low price per piece makes this look like a bargain. It is a set where the count flatters the value, and most buyers do not realize that until they are 3 hours into what feels like laying bricks in a video game rather than building something. The 7 set is the one that is going to get me the most replies, and it's the LEGO Icons Botanical Collection flower sets, specifically the Wildflower Bouquet, set 10313, 860 pieces, €60. That's 7 cents per piece, so again below the standard. But these sets are almost entirely made up of specialized botanical elements, leaves, petals, and stems that look stunning when finished and cost LEGO more to produce per piece than a standard plate or brick. The finished display is genuinely beautiful. I own one. And yet, €60 for 860 pieces of a set you build once display and never touch again, in a line that LEGO has been expanding aggressively because the margins are exceptional. The low price per piece masks the fact that you are buying a very expensive static decoration. There is no play value. There is no rebuild value. There is a finished flower arrangement that will sit on a shelf until it gets dusty. Beautiful. Overpriced. Both things are true. Here is the honest summary of everything I've just said. Price per piece is a useful tool and a deeply flawed one at the same time. It tells you something about volume. It tells you almost nothing about piece variety, build complexity, experience quality, or whether LEGO has padded a set to hit a number that makes it look like value on a comparison chart. The sets I've talked about today range from genuinely bad ratios to technically acceptable ratios that hide real problems underneath. In every case, the thing to look at is not the number on the box, it's what's behind it.